Yeah, recording.
Sweet.
Do you not have space in your computer or on Zoom?
On my computer, I think we have to buy more cloud storage or something.
Okay.
All right. So basically, the question was, I've got this. I've got an ad set running. One of the ads was cut off the ones that weren't performing. I had 2 orders come through, so I kept those specific ads running. I also created a new round of ads, but I wasn't sure if I should just go completely turn off the ones that were successful and have all of the, I guess, resources go towards the new one. Because right now on 2 of them, I just have 2 ads under a single ad set, and I guess they're both sharing the budget. So I don't know if that's a bad idea, or if I should I just have one ad per ad set, or one ad running per ad set at least?
You
Yeah,
go.
the way it's outlined in the program is just 1 ad per ad set, but doing 2 is also an option.
Okay, because it was just, I wanted to obviously, make new ads and refine and get a little bit better and get better results, but, didn't want to cut the old one that was performing a little bit. It's not fun, but I was like, well, if it's hitting, maybe not turn it completely off. Yeah,
so the way I would do that so for right now, if it's working, don't change anything. The way I do it in the future is if you make new ads, whether that's new copy or new creative, create a duplicate and add it in there. Or when you test new interests, add the ad there.
Okay, so basically do, like, for example, one of the interests is fishing. So I would do ad set fishing, and then I just duplicate that, do a fishing 2, and maybe change and just put a new ad under that, and just run them all as separate ad sets instead of, okay.
Exactly.
Right.
Basically, what you don't want to do is touch anything that's working.
Right. And so that was my thing. So do you think on the ones, although the ultimately the CTR was still under 2, the CTR on the link was under 2, but I did get sales, should I cut off the new ads or the new ad that is still under that same ad set? You see what I'm saying? So so 100% of the budget would go to old ad that was performing, because I have them basically splitting the budget now because they're under the same ad set.
So, but you're saying that you have one ad of the 2 ads that you're running. One ad is getting the sales and the other isn't.
Well, the second ad is brand new. So I just launched it today in response to how some of the other ads were going. So I was like, okay, well, let's shorten the copy. Let's do certain things. And I'm just, I didn't know if I guess the value of introducing a new ad to the same market that was semi-responding to the original ad. I think I'm making this more.
James, what I would do is I would take, the ad sets you have running now, the ones that are working well. You don't want to change anything with those. But what I would do is I would, duplicate some of the best ones into the same campaign. Keep the original ad that you have in there and add in your new ad into those duplicated ad sets, right? And then you'll be able to see the results over the next couple days, and then you'll be able to see, so my new creative is actually performing a lot better than my old creative. So then you can basically continuously do that, use that process to test new creatives and constantly be refining what you're doing, without actually hurting what's already working.
Okay.
And as for your ad set that you've just done, if I understand it correctly, that you just launched that today, so at midnight. So what time zone are you in?
I'm on Eastern time.
So you're on Eastern time, so that's been running for 13 hours.
Yeah, not long.
So I would just turn that off at that point.
Okay. All right. So
basically go back to what you had before and then use the process that we have explained for future testing.
Well, the thing is, it did get sales, but as far as the return on ad spend, CTR, and I think just really those two, it isn't classified as a good ad. I guess you'd say it did have
One or the new one?
the old one. I haven't really got any results from the new one yet.
Gotcha. Okay, I see.
Because I was running the old one for about 4 days, and that ended up getting 2 sales over those 4 days.
Gotcha. What I would across all ad sets or just this one specific ad set?
It was 2 different ad set or 2 different audiences, so 2 different ad sets, but the same ad.
Yeah.
So you only tested 2 audiences so far?
I tested 5. I'm testing 5 audiences, all with the same ad.
Okay.
3 of them didn't work and 2 of them kind of worked.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
What I would probably do is, like you said, exactly what you did, introduce a new ad. But I'd introduce a new ad in a new ad set on its own.
So it's getting the full budget and it's getting comparable numbers.
Or even make a new ad set with 2 ads. That's also an option. But introduce the new ad in a duped ad set.
Whenever you talk about the new ad set and having 2 ads, you talk 2 new ads or the old and the new?
Old and the new.
Okay.
But make sure they're drastically different.
Okay.
Like don't tweak the wording. Like make it completely different.
Okay.
You agree with that, Nate?
Yeah, and then I 100% agree. And then the only other thing I would say is just make sure that you're testing, more audiences as well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so y'all gave us I think 10 or 15. So I only started with 5 because I wanted to do 50 a day. You think I should just go ahead and just double it and make it 10?
No, just
No,
add new ones.
Yeah,
just day
over time.
day.
Like say you've tested 5 so far and 2 of them have made sales and 3 of them haven't. So then you cut those 3 that haven't, right? And then you can replace those with different interests. Like we were just talking about before, with the interests that are working with, new creatives. Basically you just want to be testing, rapidly while still, being able to remain objective and actually look at your data and be able to get valid data that's going to allow you to kind of see what's working and what's not, and ultimately kind of, figure out exactly what the winning formula is, with your ads.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. Well, welcome to everyone else. It's good to see y'all here. Who we got?
How's it going?
What's up, Matthew? Oh, dude, it's Matthew Kelly. Hell yeah. It's good to see you, dude.
How's it going?
What up?
Call me Matt.
Matt, word. All right,
Yeah,
Matt.
It's going well.
Home folder. Who's home folder?
It's me, I believe. I gotta change that. I just signed up for my laptop. I was going for my phone until just now.
So wait, what's your name, brother?
Josh.
Josh, word.
Yeah, what's up, everyone?
I like the turtleneck, Josh. Are you somewhere cold?
No, like an athletic top. It's got
I fucks.
No.
Oh, I thought it was a straight turtleneck. I couldn't see the zipper. Word.
Yeah.
And we got James.
White tee, fresh, unshaved.
And we got David. Word. Y'all doing well?
Yes, very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, man. Just got back from vacation. I don't know if y'all can tell, but like my fucking house is wrecked right now. We're setting up new furniture and like fucking there's boxes everywhere. It's a shit show, but making the best of it.
You're up in North Carolina, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, word, where at?
Greenville.
Oh, word. Actually, I want to come down there real soon and do the BMW driving school.
Dude, it's sick. It's absolutely sick. It's like we had a bunch of people from like high school and college do it, and a lot of them, if you buy a brand new BMW, sometimes they'll give you essentially you can just take it out, drive it all you want. They'll give you new tires. It's pretty sick, dude.
That's sick. Yeah, I definitely got to get down there. Word, and then we got David. David, how's it going, brother? Can you hear us okay?
think he's struggling a bit with the camera connection or something.
Yeah, I don't think he has a mic. It looks like from the list, the participants list.
Anyway,
All
let's get to it. Who's got questions? Where are you guys at? What do you need help with?
Yeah, I've got a question actually. In terms of using like pictures, what's like the protocol in terms of using pictures from like another competitor or of like this the same product basically? Like, can you use their pictures or?
So that's it can get a little sketchy. And you have to be careful because obviously you can't be stealing custom content from from your competitors. That's that's illegal. And if they see that, then they can file a report with Shopify, and then they can get that content removed from your site. So I would say like the best solution is obviously to get your own custom content. Now that's not always the the most easy solution, and it takes time. I guess kind of the rule of thumb that I kind of go by is like, is it common enough that it's on multiple different competitors, or if it's in multiple different places online, then like this isn't legal advice by any means. But if that's the case, then I'm guessing you probably be okay with it. But if it's like custom content from one specific brand that no one else has, you can't be taking that.
What if it's on like AliExpress and it's the same?
If it's on AliExpress, it's fair game.
It's fine, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
If it's the same product but just a different supplier or whatever. Do you know you have like the same one sometimes?
Just make sure they
Yeah,
are
I mean,
exactly the same ones. And
Yeah.
not
Exactly the same product.
So what if you're like, for example, I took one of their pictures and a couple of different pictures, I cropped basically the person out of it that is wearing the backpack, and then I put it on a different picture and a different background. Is that far enough away from copying where we can't necessarily get struck, or is that still too close?
Well, if it's from the AliExpress pictures, that's fair game anyway.
It's not.
It's not from AliExpress.
Yeah.
legally, you're struggling, but practically you're.
Because
I can't endorse doing that because I don't think it's
right. No, I got you.
legally. But
so okay, but wouldn't not the original picture though, or if you do from reviews, some people put pictures of themselves on the reviews and everything. If I crop somebody out of that and put it on a new thing,
Yeah, I wouldn't see any problem with that.
okay.
basically, if anyone asks you to take it down, take it down.
Oh, hell yeah! No, I know that.
As long as you're not going and straight ripping like unique custom content from one store, you'll probably be fine. But yeah, just be smart about it. Be careful. Don't do anything stupid. For the most part, you're not really going to attract a whole lot of attention. Having a little drop shipping store doing whatever, a couple hundred, a couple thousand a day. But yeah, legally, it's definitely a little bit of a slippery slope. So definitely be careful.
Okay.
You got any other questions, Matt?
Let me have a think. Not at the moment, not off the top of my head now.
Matt, where are you at right now
up
in
to?
your whole journey with Boss Builder?
Yeah,
where are you in the program with your store, everything like that?
Run my ads within the next couple of days, like Facebook ads. So I'm just working through that at the moment, basically.
You got your store up?
Yeah, store's all sorted basically. So it's just running the ads and testing. So working through that.
Getting through the program okay?
Yeah. Enjoyed it. Really
What do you think
good
so far?
Yeah, learned a lot really. In terms of the mindset thing as well. And obviously because I had a bit of a go before, I could see that where I went wrong before as well. So that's quite good.
Where'd you go wrong?
I think like I was thinking of it like more just as too drop shippy, if you know what I mean. Like, and I don't think I saw the big picture, if you like, is what I kind of feel like I do now. So yeah,
You
thanks
are
for that.
building a business here.
Yeah.
There is more to it than meets the eye sometimes, but
Yeah, I
that's
think
why,
because
you know,
from the outside, I think it's quite hard to wrap your head around a bit, I guess. So, especially if you've never done it before. So,
yeah, man,
because
that's kind of why we wanted to give, you know,
YouTubers and all that shit. So, all the
yeah,
YouTubers in the fucking car and stuff. So,
yeah,
so
man,
yeah,
it's definitely interesting. It's funny because I think about back when I was first getting into it, and you see this whole thing, and it's like you see all these people, like, you know, like you're talking about on YouTube, and like, you know, they have all these nice cars, and they're, you know, all these young kids, and they just look like they're fucking killing it, and it looks like it's just like such a whole different world. But then you start doing it, and you realize like, oh, it's not, you know, this whole crazy different thing that I thought it was, and then you meet some of these people, and you're like, wait, they're fucking losers anyway. So
100%.
It's funny, man. The more you get into it, the more you realize, and it's just funny looking back. Like, you know, I guess that's like a really good sign too, is when you're able to look back and be like, wow, like my understanding of this has evolved so much. Like I've learned so much. This, you know, just like that evolving perspective, I think is really important.
100%, mate.
Word. Well, it's good to hear from you, Matt. If you have any questions, let us know.
I
guess
might have some as the call goes along. So,
word. All right, Josh, what's going on with you, brother?
Hey, what's up, Nate? What's up, everybody? I missed the last call live. I ended up watching it on YouTube. So I'm on module 8. I'm still just building out the store, downloading the apps. Pretty early in the process. I think right now for me it would just be important just to kind of have tunnel vision, go through the steps. There was a small issue I Riley about with my first product not being able to import into Averlo. That was probably my sexiest product, so I'm kind of just waiting.
Did he get back to you on that?
He's gonna get back to me today.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a crazy last couple of days. So if we've been late getting back, our apologies on that. We're still getting settled in here.
Yeah.
But like long story short, basically, I think like what I think I actually talked to him about this last night. He mentioned it to me when we were at the airport. Basically, like that when that happens, like that's kind of like, you know, a reality of things is, you know, sometimes that's going to happen. Obviously, before we send you guys the builds, we double check and, you know, make sure that all the links are working. But, you know, that could change between the time that you get the build and the time that, you know, you actually go to build the store. You know, just kind of the way it is. So basically, I mean, the solution to that is really just to find another supplier of the same product. And, you know, as close as possible, you want to be able to find, you know, like a similar price, you know, similar pictures. You know, for the most part, there's not just going to be one supplier for a product, because that's just not usually how it works. There's usually multiple suppliers. So if you just kind of search for the product on AliExpress, you should be able to find, you know, an alternative. Just make sure that when you're doing that it, you know, it makes sense. If the price is different, make sure it still makes sense with your margins. You know, that you want to make sure that, you know, the sale price that you're selling it at is, you know, at least 3 times as much as the, you know, the cost of it from AliExpress. And you want to make sure that the shipping time, you know, be like cognizant of the shipping options, because sometimes, you know, e-packet is free. Sometimes it's, you know, $2 or $3. Sometimes, you know, there's other shipping options. Like there's one called Special Line, YW, I think it's called, which actually tends to be faster than e-packet. That's available, I would say, from what I've seen, probably like 10 to 20% of the time. So just be cognizant of the shipping options and, you know, your costs and everything like that. But that's, you know, that's something that's going to happen. And I think Riley should be getting back to you later today with, you know, with a link that he found for that product. So
with those shipping options, I see that on AliExpress they have all different prices for the product. Should I be going off the price, like which is the cheapest, or should I also be like going by the actual name and like preferencing quality?
Yeah, you definitely want to look at the reviews. Generally speaking, the more orders, you know, a listing has, if you're looking at, you know, 5 different listings for the same product, generally I'd probably go with the one that has the most orders, because that's going to be the one that, you know, generally you can usually, you know, assume that's the the best quality one. Look at the reviews, make sure that the reviews are at least solid. They don't have to be fucking incredible, but they need to be at least decent. And then I would say for the price, usually the price won't be any. Usually it'll be about the same for most of all the listings. I think it's usually the difference comes more so with the shipping. So that's kind of why I mentioned the shipping and being cognizant of the shipping times and stuff like that, or the shipping costs. But for shipping, you want to choose. You obviously want to have at least e-packet. At least as fast as e-packet. So you don't want to be, sometimes the standard option is AliExpress standard shipping, which it'll be like a month and a half or something. So, when you choose between, you can choose between that and e-packet for say $2, you obviously want to go with the e-packet option every single time.
I see. Okay.
If you have any issues like that or anyone else here, just email us, email Riley, and we'll get you sorted. Obviously, you can go out and find your own product, but like if there's anything wrong with stuff in your build, just email us, email Riley, we'll get you sorted. No worries at all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really just it for me. Just kind of at that level, just gotta kind of continue going through, the steps you guys have laid out. And just
so what's the plan for this week? What are your goals by the let's say by Sunday? Where do you want to be?
Module a day minimum. So we could say by Sunday we could say finish with semester 2.
I wouldn't look at it like
I don't know.
Get the ads up.
What do you recommend? James, you seem like you've been a little further than me, and you started at the same time, right? So
Are you working full time?
No, not at the moment.
Have your ads up by like in 2 days.
Yeah, you could have your ads up by the weekend for sure. I wouldn't think of it. I wouldn't think of it so much as like how the module that you're on. Think of it as the actual what you're doing with each module, right? Module 8, you're setting up your store, right? And then whatever modules you're here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm expecting a delivery for a fucking piece of furniture. I gotta answer this. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, so just focus on the actual work you have to do as opposed to the modules that you're on. Because like you can go through the modules, like if you go through them all, then you're gonna have to go back and do like the market research. So I would just go through one module, then do that part of the work and go through the next module. You can even mix and match the two, whereas you spend half your time implementing, half your time studying. Does that make sense?
Yeah. At this point with the modules as well, it's kind of like directly following the video.
Yeah. That's the way it's supposed to be laid out, where the first half is sort of fundamental stuff and the second semester is like implementation, like step by step how to do it. So it's really meant to be done while studying, as opposed to going through the whole program and then doing it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scotty.
No worries.
And I would say just generally speaking, you can probably do things a lot faster than you think. This stuff doesn't take that much time. You can build out your store. You can go through Module 8, build out your store within. I think you could easily do that within a day. It doesn't have to take that much time, and really, it's just kind of up to you. And what we've seen so far is the people who act the fastest, they tend to get the results the fastest, and they tend to get better results. Because like they say, money's attracted to speed. So I would say ultimately, like I would definitely put more of an emphasis on just getting things done and out there, and not 100% perfect, because it's not going to be 100% perfect. You just need to get it out there and just basically fucking send it, and then kind of optimize from there, because nothing's going to happen until you do that.
I gotcha.
Word.
Yeah.
David,
Yes.
what's going on?
Nothing much. It's so funny. You go from I'm gonna start. I missed the last call, but it's so funny. You go from not sitting on your computer at all to just being addicted and just sit here and like everything you just want to critique. It's just the transition is just so funny. But no, right now it's good. Let's see, I started my ads on the 13th. Did pretty good actually. I got a nice spike, and now it's been like 3 or 4 days where I haven't had any sales. And so in the process of this whole thing, I've been kind of like going through like Instagram and Facebook groups, like you kind of talked about. And I'm kind of stuck on, not really stuck. I'm on module 15, and I haven't hit 500 like view content or purchases or anything like that. So I'm kind of like in that midst of kind of waiting and kind of just like doing my own like market research kind of on the side still. But like I'm at the point where I think, and of course this is like, I won't take your opinion on it. Like I have an ad out right now and a copy's like okay. It's like moderate, like if you kind of read it. And I've been like really looking, and I found out like my group really likes humor. Like if you look at like Facebook and Instagram, like they got a lot of reaction out of humor. So I've been like working on copy that's more of like funny based to kind of get you to laugh, and then you're going to like have the like at the end, then you're going to have like, now, click here or shop here, or click shop now, after the humor to apply. I think it would do much better than my ad is now, and I don't know if I should wait. I have it going until the 13th, so I wanted a month to run my ads to see how they do. And like I said, I've been doing all right. But like my sales kind of died off, and I think I have a better ad set up now that I actually have currently running. But I'm kind of curious. And like I said, I don't have enough to have like a custom, like wherever that 500 is of anything to like start doing lookalikes or whatever that's kind of called. I guess I should say, what's your take on that?
Can you if you got your ads in front of you?
Yeah, I can pull it up real quick.
David, what's your market?
It's wine. So it's like the wine.
Dude, you definitely do a meme ad.
Okay,
Yeah.
see what I was going for was like, if you go on Facebook and you go into all like these wine like Facebook groups, all of them are like if you go to any photos or posts, like they're all like some kind of jokes, like, oh, like a one I have up, it's like all wine lovers have 3 types of moods. One drinks a glass of wine, a bottle of wine, and then every vineyard in Italy. And like that one had like 4,000 likes for like laughs. And then I was gonna have the hook like show off your love with the wine, show off your love with wine for the best-selling one-of-a-kind necklace that's 50% off now. I think that'd be a lot more like the humor involved. And mine right now is just let me see if I can get this pulled up. It's a lot more vague. It's more of just like here, let me see if I can find it here. But
yeah,
I
think you're 100% on the right track. I think that you see what your market is into. And from the sounds of it, I mean, I don't even know what your original ad looks like, but from the sounds of it, the idea that you just gave me, that sounds like it would work, very, very well comparatively. I think that, that's attributed honestly to doing that market research. I think that's kind of like the biggest thing. And that's another thing that, I say that, the biggest successes that we've seen so far have been people that act fast. It's also people who, really take the time to do their market research.
Yeah, and like I said, like mine, I'm I'm still working like this whole Facebook thing. I've been sitting on it for a while, but it's like calling, it's like attention all wine addicts. Let's see, every girl's best friend is diamonds, and it says like false in capital letters, and it says every girl's best friend is red wine. And then I have that hook of show off your love for wine with a one-of-a-kind necklace that's 50% off. So like there's that. It's like kind of vague. And then I think this one, like I said, like I've been, it's so funny. Like you go on Instagram and your Facebook feed, and it's literally just like wine. Like go to tags, and it's like wine lover, wine funny, wine jokes. And it's like I sit there and I like take pictures of all the ones I get like more than, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 like reactions, like laughs or like likes and like comments. And I kind of have them stored, and I'm trying to like just design the whole copywriting into like the humor thing to kind of go towards my direction of like pulling the emotion of like funny, and then like show off your love for wine by like shopping out the necklace, like showing it off. But that's really where I'm at. Like I said, I'm in that part where I don't have 500 view content yet to start running those custom ads, so I'm kind of just patiently waiting. But like I said, I think what I want to do is go in and just change up my copy. I think it'd be a lot more engaging if people would actually come. I'd actually have a lot more visitors than I do now.
Can you talk
on a
about,
daily
like,
basis.
can you give us a breakdown of your stats? You've been running ads for 9 or 10 days.
Yes. And is that like, do you want the Shopify one or do you want like the actual
Facebook.
ads off of Facebook? Off Facebook?
Yeah.
All
How
right.
many interests have you done? What are the stats looking like on those?
So
How
I
many
have
of them
the,
produced sales, how many didn't?
okay. I have, okay, so I have 5 running right now. I have the 5 ads off the Wine Addict, which is the necklace. $10 a day. I've reached 15,800 people, 20,000 impressions. Let's see. I've had a total of 382 link clicks. I've only had 9 purchases. Let's see. I did know the one thing I did notice in my CTR, it is above 2%, so I guess that's pretty decent. Going off of what I've learned from the videos.
Can I stop you?
What? Yeah.
Said you've got 5 interests running.
Yes.
Are those the 5 you launched with?
Yeah, these are the 5 I launched with that was on the Boss Builder.
I mean, if you've been running for 9 days, I would assume some are doing better than others.
Yes, the one I have the most purchase off of. So I have wine and spirits as one of them, and that's the most I have is the 5 purchases off of wine and spirits. That's the most engaging one that I've had right now.
So is that profitable?
Probably
like $90 in spend, 100 and.
Oh boy.
100 and.
What's the ROAS?
Yeah, what's the ROAS on that ad set?
That one is a 1.4.
Gotcha.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That is
Yes.
pretty good. What I would look at doing right now is, I mean, if you got any with zero sales.
Yeah, it was actually white wine. White wine has none.
So
how much?
So generally,
how much in spend?
That was 104, and that was the one I was actually debating. I got up today, and I was thinking if I should just start cutting that one off because I haven't got anything off that one.
Yeah. Did you see the video the Sharks made in the program for when to cut an ad?
Yes. Yeah, I did watch that. And I was like, I was saying today, like I got up this morning and that's where I was like, already had like new copy and I was thinking about even like relaunching a new copy and probably cutting that one off. And I did see it because like I said, I haven't had 2 days without purchase. I'm pretty sure it was like 2 days if you don't have any purchase.
Yeah, David, I think the problem is you waited too long to make the changes. In the program, we lay out that after 3 to 5 days, if it's not making any sales, right, if it's not at least showing some sort of promise, cut it off and keep testing. I think your main problem right now, and the reason that you made purchase or you made sales to begin with, and then it kind of started dying off, is because you weren't testing anything new, right? You weren't testing new interests, new audiences. You weren't testing new creatives. That's really the name of the game with this, and it's just kind of like a constant thing. Is you need to be constantly giving Facebook more things to basically test with, so that it has room to optimize. Because if you're just running the same things, and it's not working, then you're not giving Facebook the ability to to basically like do its job.
Right.
So I think that that's why we lay on the program. If you follow that, after 3 to 4 days, if an ad set you spent say $40 on it, right? An ad set spent $40, hasn't made any sales. It's not looking promising, it's not getting a lot of add to carts, and whatever the metrics aren't looking like they're gonna trend better, right? From day to day, they're not getting better. Then shut it off and move on to the next test, right? Test new audiences, test new ad creatives. That's kind of the name of the game with this. And if you basically like don't do that, then you're not going to get results. But it sounds like, based off of your initial metrics and what you've told us, that this really what you're doing right now has a lot of really solid potential, especially because you already have one ad set that is at a 1.4 ROAS like immediately after launching, and especially because you haven't really done anything to it in like over a week. So I would say if you just follow the steps in the program, test all the whatever interests in your build that you haven't tested yet, test those. Right. And then I don't know were you here at the very beginning of the call? You might not have been. But we're going to post the replay of this tomorrow. And we basically talked about how to test, new ad creatives. Basically by like, duplicating your, the ad sets that are doing well, and then adding in that new ad creative with your existing one. So that way, you're not, hurting the ones that are already working, right? Because you don't want to change what's already working. You don't really want to change that because then it's going to reset and you don't want to, mess it up. So that's kind of why you do it like that. And that'll give you the opportunity to test, new interests, test new creatives, and, ultimately do that. I would say every 2 to 3 days, you should be doing something with your Facebook ads, right? If you're not doing at least something, if you're not cutting ad sets off that aren't working well, if you're not testing new interests, new creatives, then, you're just going to stagnate. So you have to continuously test those things. And if you do that, then, you're going to basically, from what it sounds like you're going to be profitable within, not that long.
Okay. And do you go in here and do you just go under, so say like, for example, like the white wine one that's not doing well, and it's like an already running ad, should I cut that off and go back to, like post or page post and then just kind of create a whole new one and throw it back in the campaign? Or do I actually just go into like the white wine, go edit and like create a new, or like do I edit within there, or do I just go to page post and kind of like how would you like reset up, like if I want to do like new creative and a new like audience, I guess you'd say, like
right,
a new interest?
So you've been running one creative the entire time, right? For all five of your ad sets. So you're making sales with that creative. So to me, that's an indication that the creative is probably not the problem, right? Because if you're making sales with that creative with other interests, then that's probably a sign that, it's at least a decent creative. So in that case, with the white wine, ad set, I would say that the problem is probably the interest, right? It's probably that the white wine interest is just not, super responsive for this type of thing. I think it's, what you're selling is definitely more so for people who drink red wine. Cause just anecdotally, I know that, people who like white wine aren't really super obsessed with wine, at least to me, but people who like red wine, they're like really fucking obsessed with wine. So I would say, basically what I would do if I were you is I would cut off, any ad sets that, if they haven't made any sales, I would cut them off at this point. If they've made a couple sales, but they're not, profitable or anything, I would look at the way that they're trending, see the difference and changes from day to day, right? How they started off for the first couple of days, then, the next couple of days, then, the last few days, see if they're, the metrics are trending better. And if they are, then you might want to keep those. But I would say you need to cut off, the ad sets that aren't performing that well, probably 2 or 3 of them, and then replace them with new interests. And what I would do is I would probably, I'm guessing if you tested 5 interests, there's probably at least 3 other interests in your build, maybe even 5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you need to be testing those interests, right? So what I would do is I would probably, make a new creative, like the one you're talking about, with a meme, humor, something funny. And then, make a couple new ad sets, with, either that new creative alone, that new creative and your old creative. And then, test those new interests and, those new creatives so that you're able to see kind of what's working and what's not.
Okay, that sounds good. And so so what you're saying is I should just go in and like duplicate it and then cut the one off and then just add the new interest or the creative that's already working, and then just
don't duplicate the campaign. Go into the campaign and duplicate the ad sets that you're keeping on, right? The ones that have been performing the best, and then test new interest with those, with the existing creative that you have. Test new interest with a new creative, and then what was the other one? And then test, your current interest, the one that's working really well, what wine and spirits. I think that was one that you said. Test that one. I think the most important one is probably to duplicate that and test that interest with a new creative, right? Because that's really, if you're seeing, that much potential already with just, your initial ad set with that creative and that interest, then with a better creative, you can probably amplify those results.
Okay. Awesome. Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. And this is by far the hardest part. The stage that you're at right now, where it's very easy to set things up and make a couple sales, right? That's not difficult. Just about anyone, I think, can set up a store and make a couple sales. The hard part is testing these things and getting it consistent to the point where we're actually profitable. And it takes a lot of work, man. Like, it takes a lot of testing. It takes a lot of work, and it's a process. But once you get to the point where you're consistently profitable and you know what works, then it gets so much easier from there. Scott, are you laughing at fucking Andy's bitch ass in the
Guns
background?
show in the background.
Yeah, because I have
Shirt.
pages of like kind of like written out like copy that I've been like kind of going over. Like I said, like I find like those funny memes or like jokes that all these like Facebook groups and such like talk about, or like, you know, just like wine lovers. You go on there and look at like all their photos. And there's one, like I said, like 4,000 or 5,000 like people are laughing or like it. And I take that one, I take a picture of it and like some kind of just apply it to some kind of copy. And I mean, I guess I have like 5 or 6 pages of like just kind of scribbled out copy of like how I'd like use with the group here. So I guess I should just kind of do what you're saying, just apply what's working and just try new creatives and new interests.
Exactly. And by the time you get that sorted, like by the time you have some of those interests tested, you'll be ready to do the 500. You'll have the 500 view contents for sure. That
Yeah,
immediately
absolutely.
struck me as kind of odd that you don't have 500 view contents if you've been running ads for 10 days. So 10 days times 50 is was that 450 to 500 bucks that you've spent. So if you're
Yeah.
getting clicks for $1 or less, you should have 500 view contents.
Yeah, and I'm at like 382 right now, which like I said, like I noticed it kind of died off like the last like 3 to 4 days.
Yeah, I bet
So-
if you went and looked at the amount of view contents that you were getting those first couple days, I bet you it's dramatically higher than what you've been getting the last couple days.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's just how Facebook works, man. You got to be constantly testing stuff, and it's a process. But I guess the other thing I didn't mention is I would, you know, make sure you're not focusing just on the copy. Make sure you're actually, you know, also, you know, testing different, you know, pictures, videos, whatever you can, you know, get your hands on. You know, because I think ultimately the creative, the actual picture or video, that tends to be more influential in the performance of your ad than the actual copy itself. So, you know, when you're testing new creatives, make sure that you're not just using the exact same picture and then just changing the copy, because that's not really going to be enough of a change to, you know, be able to make those, you know, big conclusions basically,
Okay.
you know, with the amount that you're spending right now, you know, testing.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, and I already bought like all my products already that I'm like have on my store. And I already am going to take pictures of everything I have. I'm just waiting for to get some more
Yeah, man,
props.
get a cute girl with a glass of wine in her hand, and just do some, you know, have her put the necklace on, do a fucking boomerang, like something simple like that, like
Okay.
you know, boomerangs, and run that. You know, you can run that on Instagram and Facebook. You know, just little shit like that can outperform like just like real content. You know, I've seen that, you know, in my experience, outperform, you know, even a lot higher quality production stuff, just because, you know, it's kind of how it works, that how good it looks isn't necessarily how good it's going to convert. So keep that in mind. And, you know, I think that's a really solid move. And your product, that's probably one of the easiest products I can think of to get, you know, custom content for.
Okay, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Excited to have you here. Excited that you're making some progress, and I'm fucking pumped, man. I think you follow this in a couple of weeks. I think you could be profitable.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping on. I mean, it's like I said, it's every single day sit here and try to look at the numbers and stats and see what's going on. But yeah, I just gotta apply. Some new things I need to test out. So
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Cool. We got anything else for right now, David?
I think I'm good. That was really the only issue I was having there. Aside from that, everything else seems to be running good. Like I said, I'm kind of stuck in that module, but once I make some changes here, I guarantee I'll pop right up there to 500 and above. So aside from that, I think I'm all good. So
Then you want to test all those audiences with your existing ad and maybe a new ad. Just same process over and over again. Testing interest, testing ads, testing audiences.
Okay. Rinse and repeat.
Forever.
Okay.
And make sure you're keeping track of it too, of what you're testing. I think Scotty, we should probably add something like that to the program. Just
like my journal or something.
Yeah, like literally that's literally like the tip is like literally have a physical journal that you write down every single day. You log, you know, the performance of your ads the previous day, the changes that you're making, you know, the trends that things are taking, just so that you have everything in one place and you can see, okay, so I've already tested this. I don't need to go and test this again. Right.
Okay.
So it kind of helps take emotion out of it, because if you write down today, okay, I'm going to let this ad run for one more day and see how it goes. The next day you see that in your book, you're kind of you're beholden to it. It takes a bit of that emotional difficulty out of it, because like you wrote it down, like you're giving it one more day, and you're then not going to sit on it thinking, maybe I should give it one more day. Like you cut it. And that's, I think, one of the issues you're having, that you're letting stuff run for too long. You could definitely cut quicker in the future.
Yeah, and like that's what I was saying. Like I've been like kind of patient. Like I know like the patience aspect was kind of a big thing you guys talked about. So I've been kind of sitting back being patient, but I think I need to get a little more aggressive on it.
You have to be patient with the overall process. You don't have to be patient with any individual audience or ad. Like if it's not working, cut it.
Okay.
Be patient with the overall process of testing new stuff. But each individual test, you kind of have to look at the numbers and make like an unemotional decision. You don't need to be patient there.
Okay.
You just need to give it enough time to optimize, so that you don't set up ads today and then look at them tomorrow and be like, oh, this isn't going to work, right? Because that's not giving enough time. But I would say, the timeline is generally 2 to 5 days. That's enough time for it to optimize, and so you want to be making those decisions as soon as you possibly can. So yeah, I think that was pretty spot on there, Scotty. Cool, man. Who else we got here? We got Adrian. Looks like Adrian does not have a mic. Who's the phone number?
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Adrian. I'm pretty hyped to get started. I'm still in the modules myself, just learning more and more. Getting through module 2 right now, but once I'm finished, I'm ready to hit the ground running.
Nice. You got any questions for us right now?
Yellow?
Yeah, we can hear you, Adrian.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, what I said was I'm still in the beginning phases. I just got into Boss Builder, and I'm learning more and more as I go. I'm going through module 2, which is pretty extensive, learning a lot about copy. I'm just ready to hit the ground running once I get through this, all the modules.
Gotcha, man. So what's what's stopping you from moving a little bit faster? I would say, because a lot of these guys here, that they got in the same time as you, and I'm not like trying to shit on you or anything, but like we were saying,
definitely.
Money's attracted to speed. So what's kind of keeping you from working a little faster?
My full-time job, really. I commute about an hour. I work full-time, and then as soon as I get home, though, I just grind at trying to get through these modules, and so. But I am trying to move as quick as possible with my schedule.
You'll wake up early and do it in the morning.
I wake up pretty. What time do you normally wake up?
See, that's the wrong question to ask, because what time people normally wake up, the people who normally wake up at that time, they're not trying to build an e-commerce business.
This is very true. This is very true. I usually wake up at 6 a.m. and then stay at work a little bit later just to handle the modules. But I do understand that a fire needs to be put under my ass to get through this quicker, because I really want this, essentially.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I would say that, you don't have to do anything super crazy. Obviously, it sounds like your schedule is pretty packed if you're commuting an hour each way, and working, a full-time job, that's a lot. But if you can just make 1 to 2 hours per day consistently, that's enough. You don't need to be, staying up all night, sleeping for 2 hours a night, being miserable at your job or anything. If you can just consistently every single day, 1 to 2 hours, you'll make progress.
Agreed. I think now it's just getting in the habit of doing it every single day, which I'm trying to work towards.
That's a huge part of this as well, is if you really, you really go all into this. And I think, who said this earlier? I think David mentioned this earlier. The big change from barely ever being on the computer at all to being on it all the time, right? If you really go all in on this and you really fucking want this, and you spend your money on this program to actually go out and build this business, your life, the way that your daily life is structured and the things that you do, it's going to change, right? It's going to have to change, because if it doesn't, then, you're just going to, continue to be in the same spot you are now. You know, when I started doing this stuff, my life changed dramatically. I mean, I went from being in class, right, going to school, working, you know, at that pizza delivery place, or working at a pizza place, delivering pizza, you know, hanging out with friends, drinking, smoking, whatever. I went from doing that to literally doing none of those things except for delivering pizza and working on this. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that, you know, you have to drop everything in your entire life, but, you know, I'm making the point that, you know, your daily life is going to change drastically if you're doing this, you know, the right way. If you're acting with speed and you're really, you know, putting in, you know, 110% effort, you know, your daily life is going to change drastically. And it can be scary because obviously change is fucking, you know, change is scary. And that's just kind of the way it goes. But if you can get yourself to do that, you know, you're going to look back and realize, like, I can't believe I used to live my life like this. And then you're going to be fucking addicted to this shit because it's going to be putting money in your pocket every day. And you're going to just be mind blown that, you know, you weren't doing this sooner, and that, you know, this wasn't your life, because in some sense it does kind of become your life. It's a constant thing. That never really, you know, you get off work at, you know, whatever, 5 o'clock on Friday, and, you know, you're off, right? With this, you're never off. You know, it's a constant thing. But if you can make that time and you can make those changes in your life, and you're consistent with it, then, you know, it might take you longer because you have less time, you know, to work on it per day than, you know, someone like, you know, me or Scotty. But regardless, you're still going to make progress. And that's really the important part. If you just do that consistently every single day and you don't give up, you know, that's really what it's about.
Most definitely, man. I'm very excited. Thank you for telling me all this. I'm excited to let you guys know where my progress is the next time on the next call.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'd love to see you next time. Well, next call's in about 2 weeks. I would love to see you have your store up, and I'd love to see you have some ads up and, you know, start testing, because ultimately, you know, it doesn't have to take forever, and it can take as long as you want it to take. But if you set a goal for yourself and you set a hard deadline, you know, I think, Scotty, you say this, and I've heard, I don't know who originally said this, but, like, you know, the work that you have will, you know, expand to fit the time that you set for it. So if you set a small amount of time, you'll probably get it done in that amount of time. If you allow yourself more time, then, you know, it's going to take longer. So something to keep in mind. Here, fellas, give me 1 second here. I gotta deal with this delivery. We're getting a new table. It's very unprofessional. Right. Scotty, I'm gonna let you take the wheel.
All right. If any questions come up as we've been going through this for anyone.
Yeah. So on the this is kind of completely random versus what we were just talking about, but whenever you're creating a new ad set and you just get the warning, and this is minor, but you get the warning that this ad set may get 0 purchases. Do we take the consideration into that statement, or what's the play?
Ignore it.
Okay.
Means it's honestly irrelevant to you.
Okay. That's all.
All right. Perfect. Anyone else? Matt, you look like you've got a question.
Actually, I wanted to ask David something. Actually,
Sure.
How many products is it you're running? Is it just the one? Or?
Wait, can you hear me now? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, you just turned on your mic, so should be fine now.
Okay. Oh, what was that question again?
How many products is it you're running at the moment? Is it just the one?
You mean? Yeah, just mean for like my ads.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's a necklace. There's 3 different colors, but yeah, I'm just running one product right now.
Yo, who's got the audio on loud? I think that's you, Adrian, on your phone.
Yep, I just got. Thanks for letting me know.
All right, I think that's better now. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, so the way we recommend people do it is that they start with one product.
Yeah.
And just focus on marketing that one. So there's no need to test a bunch of products right off the bat. You just want to hone in on one, get it working, and then scale that up, and then start testing other products.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what stage David was at, so I was just just asking him. So.
Cool.
When y'all were talking about optimizing for the view contents thing, what module was that in, or do y'all remember?
It's not optimizing for view contents. You optimize for purchases.
Yeah.
What David was talking about is a lookalike audience.
Oh, okay.
So once you have 500 or 300, 500 view contents, you can create a custom audience which contains all the people who've viewed content. And then what you do is you create a lookalike audience. So you tell Facebook, give me the 1% of people in the US that look most similar to this group of people.
Oh.
And then you can do the same with add to cart, same with initiate checkout, same with purchases. Once you have enough purchases, you view contents, etc. So,
Okay.
but for each of those, you're still optimizing for purchases.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
There are
And I would caution
to optimize review content, but certainly not in the beginning stages, because if you optimize for view content or add to carts, Facebook's going to do exactly that. You're going to get a ton of view contents, but you're telling Facebook, I don't care about purchases, so they're not going to care about purchases.
Yeah, and I would just say this. I meant to say this when we were talking with David. I would caution you guys to like don't see view content lookalikes or add to cart lookalikes as like the number one thing that you're working towards, because in all likelihood, I mean, in my experience, I don't think that view content lookalikes have really outperformed cold interests. The right cold interests. Ultimately, like, should you test them? Yes, absolutely. Don't take this as don't test them, but also don't think that once you get there that's like, the only thing that you should be testing, because it's not. You need to be testing cold interests, different creatives and everything like that. And it's just like, that's one piece of the puzzle. Absolutely. But don't get tunnel vision on that.
It's an additional option that you don't have when you're getting started, but once you have it, you want to test it. And the same with purchases. If purchase lookalikes don't work, then they don't work. So be it. Just something you want to test, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You keep testing new audiences.
Scotty, I think it's so funny how you're so good at remaining unemotional about these things. I think that's all honestly one of the biggest challenges. For a lot of people, I know that I know you remember I had that issue when I was first starting, and you were just giving me some fucking robotic advice, and I was like, all right, yeah, that's true. And it's just like, that's such an important part. Just be aware of that, and really just try to keep your emotions out of it. It's really tough, especially if you're. Honestly, I think no matter who you are, it's tough unless you're fucking Scotty, because Scotty just like doesn't have emotions or something.
You sound like my girlfriend.
But it really is. It's so incredibly important. It's just like you really have to look at it at like it's fucking it's not anything that's like, I don't know. I'm wording this really shitty. Yeah, I mean, you just have to look at it with a very objective view, and it's just like a formula, right? You're not trying to get attached to anything. If you like a certain product, that's cool. It doesn't matter. If you don't like a certain product, cool. No one gives a fuck. Your opinion does not mean anything. How you feel about it is pointless. It doesn't do anything for you. You have to be able to objectively test things, look at the data, and objectively make decisions based off that data, as opposed to what you think is going to work, or what you would like to work, or what et cetera, et cetera. That's really, really important. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you're making decisions, and really just try to think like a robot, like Scotty here.
Honestly, you can also just post it like in the group for other people, because it's hard to be unemotional about your own stuff. But like, honestly, if David asked Matt what to do with this ad set, he'd probably get decent advice, because Matt knows how to run ads roughly.
Yeah.
And he isn't emotionally attached to it. So if you post,
and David would give Matt better advice than he would give himself.
Yeah, same. Just if you're not emotionally attached to it, it's just easier. And there's some killers in the group, like Jason's doing great, Chu's doing great. There's a bunch of people getting sales, doing well. You just post it in there, you're going to get feedback from everyone in the group, from Nate, from me. I would just do that if you're ever unsure. If you think you're getting too emotional about something, like that white wine ad set, for example, if you thought you were getting too emotionally attached to try and make this work, post it in the group. People will be able to take like a third like a third party look at it and just say like cut it.
Yeah. And I guess that's like one last thing on this topic is when you're thinking about these decisions, like kind of like I said earlier, like, you know, we're talking about if David were to give Matt advice, think about it like that. Think about it like it's not your store. Think about it like, you know, someone else in the program asked you, what should I do in this situation? And then you guys know more than you probably think you know. If you've been through the program, if you've been testing things, you know a lot more than you probably think. So look at it like you're trying to give yourself advice as opposed to, you know, what would, you know, ask yourself, okay, you know, what would I tell someone to do if they were in this situation? And I think thinking of it like that, you know, removes yourself from the actual decision and allows you to just really focus on, okay, what is the actual best decision here and not anything, you know, that I feel, you know, emotions wise or anything, you know, along those lines. All right, so I see Adrian's here on video. Adrian, are you also the phone number in here as well?
I don't know if you guys can hear me right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. I had to call in. I just got into a meeting room. I'm working out of work really, but I'm on my downtime, so.
Word. So okay, I just want to make sure that it wasn't two different people because it looks like
I think there is.
you're in the Zoom as you know, Adrian, and then also your phone number.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think James said that he just messaged me privately. He said he's sitting at work and just listening. He said his goal is to have his ads up this Thursday night. So I don't think he's going to be talking. I guess he's trying to be a little covert there at work. I think that's the funniest thing, honestly. I feel like I feel like a bad influence or something. Like someone's boss is going to come yell at me, be like, "Stop having these live calls. Stop taking my employees away."
Just wait
But yeah.
until Riley starts joining on work time.
Well, I think we got to most of. Well, I think not most. I think we got to all of y'all's questions thus far. Did anything else
No,
come
I
up?
think we still need to, I don't think James has asked anything yet.
Yeah, I just said that James. He's at work and he's.
I got you.
He said he's just listening. So. But yeah, did any of y'all have any other questions? You know, that came up. You know, in the process of, you know, all of us, everyone else asking questions and us answering them and everything.
No, not really.
With that, setting a hard deadline for the date, do you have any tips on how to? I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but
Josh, what's your current life situation? Are you in school? Are you working or living at home with you know, what's your life situation?
living at home with my mom, not working full time.
Are you working part time?
Yeah,
What do you do for work?
I'm helping out actually a similar e-commerce type of business my cousins run. They own like a sneaker factory, but I could
Oh, that's
kind of
dope.
my hours and allocate more towards this.
So Josh, if you're not able to, you know, say you completely fail at starting, you know, your own e-com business, what's the thing that you would do instead, right? So say that you just for some reason couldn't do this, right? What's the thing that you would have to do that you don't really want to do that you would have to do?
Got a different job.
Would you have to get a full-time job? You know,
Yeah.
go back to school or you know?
Yeah, just start.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you don't want to do that. Right. So
I guess part of me is like just not fully bought into wanting to do this full time.
really, even though you spent $3K on the program.
Exactly. Yeah. So part of me is as well.
I think ultimately you have to make that decision for yourself, my man, because until you make that decision that this is what you want,
Yep.
then you're probably going to half-ass it. Like, just being real with you, if you're in a position where, you know, you're living at home, you're kind of comfortable, and, you know, you're not really sure if you want to do this, you kind of do, you kind of don't, you're not going to put in the, you know, 110% fucking ruthless effort that, it takes to make this work. So I think that's kind of a personal decision. And what I would do if I were you is I would really think about, okay, if I don't do this, what's my life going to look like? What am I going to be doing? What kind of job am I going to be doing? What kind of money am I going to be making? If that's something that, the alternative is something you really don't want, then you're going to do whatever the fuck it takes to make this work. Right. So that's kind of what I did, is attach, if I couldn't make it work, I would have had to go back to school, get a regular job, and fucking, I did not want to fucking do that. Like, I literally would have rather fucking like lived in a forest as a hermit than fucking work at a regular job like that. So I attached, that I had that hard deadline of, okay, if I took a semester off school, if I couldn't make things work by the time I had to enroll in, the following semester, then I would have had to enroll in the following semester and go back to school and basically, give up this dream of mine of, doing econ full time, or at least put it off. So, like, basically, long story short, short story long, I think you have to decide, if you really want it. And then if you do, then attach, make a hard deadline and attach a negative outcome to it that you really, really, really don't fucking want to happen if you don't make it work. Because if you have that really negative outcome, and this is like, one of the things that, I'm sure you guys have seen in the program, people are more so motivated by, losing something or, a negative outcome than they are gaining something or a positive outcome. And we all work the same way, right? Just because you know about these things doesn't mean that, you're immune to them. So if you attach something very negative to not doing what you need to do, not making this work, then, you're probably going to do whatever the fuck it takes to make it work. That's kind of the philosophy I took, and it worked out really well for me. And I think it takes a certain type of personality to do that, because, some people are just going to be like, this is too much pressure, or I don't want to, I don't really want to do this, whatever. But if you want it really, really fucking badly, then you're going to do it. And it's like, ultimately all of you have the ability to make this work. Not a doubt in my mind. None of you are fucking, have an IQ of like 70, are fucking dumb, don't have resources. Like, you guys are all fucking smart dudes who all have the ability to do this. Ultimately, it's just a matter of how bad do you want it and how much are you willing to fail in order to get it, right? That's ultimately, like, in my opinion, that's really the two biggest things. And, ultimately the only thing stopping you is really yourself.
I think the hardest part's probably when you don't have massive bills. I know whenever when I started, not this business, but another business a couple of years ago, my main one, I, was in my own apartment. I had X amount of money, and so I had X amount of time to get this done, or I was just going to be flat broke with no job and, nothing. So I think that's what, when like looking back, that's what really motivated me a lot, because it was, I wasn't currently comfortable. I was in a shitty apartment. I had hardly any money, no cash flow, and the only way to get out was to work my way out.
Yeah, man. Josh, if I were you, I'd probably do something like I would talk to my mom, and I would be like, all right, Mom, if I can't support myself in full by, say, a date 5 months from now, then, or basically say, like, in 5 months, I'm going to move out, right? I'm not going to live here. I'm not going to live at home anymore. I'm going to support myself. On this day, I'm going to move out. And whether or not, I do that by creating this econ business and, supporting myself, or having to go get a job, it's going to happen one or the other. And if you put yourself, back against the wall, again, I think it does depend on your personality a little bit, but, that's like kind of the fucking brute force method of forcing yourself to do something. Because if you have that negative outcome, and I can tell Scotty disagrees with me on this, but that's what I did. And I think that's probably what I would do if I was in your situation.
It's a personality thing. Like, I just get up and work an hour or two. When I used to go to school, just get up, work an hour, go to school, or come back from school, work an hour or two, go to football. Great day, had fun at school, played football, and I worked a couple hours. And that was fun. I did that for 3-4 years, and here I am. Like, it doesn't have to be back up against the wall. I'm still in my little childhood room, and I've got no pressure to succeed, but I just want to. It's fun.
Wait another month and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, that steady paycheck is unfortunately gone.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point, Scotty. I think it does come down to personality type, and I don't know. To me, it just seems like if it's something that you really want, and like, sometimes you have to force yourself to make a dramatic change to get yourself to do the things that you need to do to get to where you want to be.
Josh, why are you interested in this? What's your motivation? Don't give me a polished answer. Tell me what you really think.
Because it's one of the many paths to become successful that I think fits my lifestyle right now. I mean, and it's very attainable.
What's successful?
Profitable.
I don't know.
In life, though, to
What's
you,
successful to you?
what does success mean to you in life?
Self-running machine.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
A well-running machine that can just continue to create revenue. And
so, do you think that you need to own a business to be successful?
No, of course. I mean, this comes down to personality as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, just having something that giving just a job that contributes positively to other people that can allow me to have an income.
So you don't care. You don't want to make a shit ton of money. You don't want to travel the world. You don't care about freedom.
Yeah, I'm down for all that as well, of course. Of course. Yeah.
All right. I don't want to continue giving you a hard time.
It's all with the goal of it's like tough love, I would say. But I would say this just like makes me it's just like such a reminder to me that like the crux of making this work, it's not in the tactics of what you're doing. It's not in the product you sell, the Facebook ads you run, your store. It's literally it's your fucking head. It's the mental game. That is the toughest part of all this by far. And I think that we've really tried to that's why we have like the mindset section in there. And I think that I want to go a lot deeper into that, because I think that ultimately that's really the most important part. That's really where people succeed. Some people just have it in them. They don't need any extra push or anything like that. They don't need any sort of anything like that. But most people, in my experience, they're not just like that. Like most people in my experience, Scotty, are not like you in the fact that they're just gonna go to school, hang out with their friends, but also consistently work on their business every single day. That's just not the reality of the most people I know. That's just like not how people work. I think that I think we're both special cases in different ways, but I think it's really important to just keep in mind that it's ultimately more like trying to think of how to word this. It's more of a mental game than anything else. So I would say be aware of that and don't get lost in the specific little tactics of everything, and make sure that you're really cultivating, your mindset and a fucking iron mindset to, be able to do this, because it does take a fucking really strong, a strong mind to be able to do this, especially consistently, right? Getting it off the ground is one thing, but having to, basically, having the weight on your shoulders every single day that you're supporting yourself, and that if you don't make things work, if you don't make money on your own with your store, with, whatever you're doing, if you don't make money, then, you're going to fucking starve. It's fucking stressful, man. So you have to have like the mental strength to be able to deal with that. And it's definitely, it's not for everyone. It's definitely not. But I think that, obviously, Josh, you're here, and I don't think that you're here for no reason. I think that ultimately you really do want this. I think it's just going to take, a little bit of extra, coaxing of your own mind to, be able to get you to the point where you're doing this consistently, and, really doing what it takes to succeed.
All right. Any last minute questions coming up, or should we wrap this one up on that little rant for Josh?
I think it helps to what helped me like in the last month or so was just to I actually like went thought about and sat down and wrote down like why I actually wanted to do it. I think like that helped me a lot, like just writing down those reasons.
Josh,
Nope.
what sounds to me as if you're kind of unsure what you want, and you're giving like an answer from like 5 different sources that like one person says you need to systemize your business, another person says you need to do e-com, a third person says you need to serve the world, and you're just trying to mesh them all together into getting like this perfect mesh of what you want. But like my goal when I got started is I wanted to make $100 a month. Why? I don't know. I just did. And that was my goal. My goal wasn't to become an e-com squid and go full send because e-com Andy says so. Like my goal was just mine. And it sounds like you're trying to sort of mix what different people are telling you should be doing and mix and mesh that all together. But like, is that what you want? Do you want to serve people? Do you want to travel the world? Like, I think you have to kind of figure that one out. And what Matt just said, writing that down definitely helps. Go for a long walk, think about it, write it down.
And you're also not stuck to whatever you think you want now is not what you're stuck to for the rest of your life. You can change your mind in a year or two and do something completely different. That's the beauty, you know, that's why I say life is a video game, because you can determine whatever the fuck you want, like, and you can determine whatever the fuck you do. And like, I think that's, you know, a really, really tough thing is to decide at such a young age. I mean, Josh, how old are you?
I just turned 24.
Yeah. So when you're even like, when you're just young, man, when you have this much life ahead of you, right? You don't know what you want to do with your entire life, but you don't have to. I don't know what I'm going to be doing when I'm fucking 50, but I do know that I want to fucking, you know, build and scale e-commerce businesses, you know, when I'm in my 20s. I know that I want to use them to, you know, to build wealth, to, you know, invest in real estate and, you know, be able to live life like, you know, 99% of people will never be able to live, because we only have fucking one chance to live life. And I think it, you know, to me, it'd be a waste to not be able to get those opportunities that I know are attainable, right? I know for every single one of us here, it is attainable to be in that top 1%. And, you know, to me, it seems like a waste not to do that. Now that's me. That's how I see life. Not everyone is going to agree with me on that. And that's fine. You don't have to, you can tell me to fuck off, but, you know, that's fine.
I do that regularly.
Pretty often. But I think what Scotty said is very true. It's like, you just have to figure out, you know, what you actually want and not what, you know, other people tell you that you should want. You know, and that includes fucking me, and that includes Scotty as well. You know, and it doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to have the right answer for the rest of your life. You just have to figure out, okay, so what do I want to do for the next 5 years? Is that hard? Probably not. 5 years of your life, it's kind of a lot, but, you know, you make the wrong decision, you can fucking switch it up. You can do something different. Yeah. It's the beauty of it. James is over there geeking.
This is beautiful. It's just motivating.
I think I want to become a motivational speaker. I'm gonna switch from ecom. I'm gonna leave Scotty with the ecom stuff.
Hey, I've got a buddy that does that, and you would be surprised how consistently you can get booked. Now, he's like a nobody basically, but like schools and random you can get booked up pretty quick.
Yeah, man. If you have a good message, like there's so many people out there that just need to hear something different, because like I don't want to get like super meta here or anything, but like, you know, we're all a product of like our own experiences and the things that we've been brought up around and everything like that. And it's all unique, right? No one else has that exact same set of experiences. And especially if you've had like, you know, parents who, you know, are fucking miserable, who hate what they do, and they haven't, you know, encouraged you to go out and, you know, to grow and everything like that, or you've been surrounded by teachers or friends, you know, who've just been like overall negative influences on you. If you hear a different perspective from someone who's really like thriving and not just, you know, monetarily, just like talking about in life in general, you know, friends, family, money, health, everything like that. You know, that can be huge for people, man. And I think that's really my goal is, you know, to be someone like that for at least, you know, someone out there, man. Like if I can help someone who, you know, wasn't really sure what they want to do, if I can help them figure that out and then understand that they can actually fucking do it, then and they actually use that and they go and, fucking take action and create the life of their dreams, then I'm fucking happy. And I think that, we all have, that opportunity, and I think it'd be dumb to waste it.
That it would.
Well said, Nate.
I'm gonna pat myself in the back a little bit there. All right. All that, I don't even know what to call that. All that Tony Robbins shit aside. Y'all got any more questions for us?
That's it, I think.
All right, before we go, I want to go through and I want to hear from each of you what your goals are for until the next time, the next live call, which is going to be in about a week and a half on Sunday, unless we change it, which is always a possibility. But as far as I can tell, it'll be August 4th. So that's about a week and a half. What are your goals? James, do you have a question? You look like you're about to say something.
Yeah, just a quick one. Like, I know you were talking about scaling up one product before moving to others. Has it ever been an issue where the product is the problem?
Yeah, of
Absolutely.
course. If the product doesn't work, then you move on to another one. But if you've got something working, you stick to that.
What would be the guidelines for like recognizing when you should test a different product?
So I would say generally it's tough because there's never going to be like 100% hard and fast metrics for it. But I would say if you've spent a couple $100 on ads and it's just not fucking working whatsoever, and you've actually tested, multiple creatives, you've tested, more than just those 5 interests, and you've tested, say another big change, like a different offer, right? Changing it from, this price to, 70% off or whatever, change the offer. If you've tested, a decent amount of those things and it's just not showing any sort of promise and you've spent a couple $100, then I'd probably move on. And sometimes you'll be able to tell earlier, right? Sometimes it'll just be, the results will be terrible. Sometimes the product is shit, and no matter what you do, the results are gonna be terrible. If it's not, you're not getting any purchases at all, right? If after a couple of days, none of your ads have gotten, if after say 5 days, nothing that you've done has gotten any purchases, it's probably a safe bet that you should move on, right? Because ultimately, if you're actually following everything in the program and you're, making decent ads, and you're targeting the interests that are in your build, and your store is, set up the way that we lay out, then then it would be pretty obvious to me at that point that the product would be the problem, and it's time to move on. But I think that most of the time it's and this kind of goes against what we've been saying about objectively deciding, but intuitively, so like use your intuition. Like it's there for a reason, and a lot of times even though again you'll feel like you don't have the experience to be able to know, a lot of time you'll be able to tell if what you're doing, has the potential to work. And you combine that with actually looking at the data and, following the process like we lay out. And, that's kind of the way that I think about it. But I would say that, if I had to give hard and fast numbers, I would say probably between, I don't know. It also depends on your budget and your risk tolerance and how much you can afford to lose. But I would say $300 to $400.
With just like no purchases, basically.
With like, I mean, even if you are getting some purchases, but it's just like the metrics aren't trending upwards at all, and like and nothing is improving after you're making changes and following what we just kind of laid out, then yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, okay, back to what I was saying. I want to hear from y'all what your goals are for the next week and a half until August 4th. Where do you want to be next time we talk? And then next live call, we're going to revisit those and see, where you are. Did you meet those goals? Did you not meet them? If not, why? We want to be able to work with you guys and make sure that, you're setting realistic goals, but at the same time also, ambitious goals, because, you guys all have it fucking in you. I know you do. So let's hear it. James, let's start with you.
Well, I'd like to be able to get it might be too quick, but I'd like to get my at least one product profitable. I mean, it's kind of choppy right now. I'm really trying different ads and different angles. it's only a week and a half, and you said usually it's a couple weeks. But I mean, I'd like. Well, we'll say this: I'd have a consistent ad set that's I can almost. It seems like I can run in perpetuity. That's actually hitting all of the metrics that y'all recommend as far as CTR, as far as ROAS, and all of that. That'd be pretty solid for me.
Yeah, man, I would like to see you make consistent sales. I would say that's not necessarily profitable. Obviously, profitable is, the goal. But in a week and a half, I think that's a very realistic goal. I think you get to that.
Okay. And so what would just consistently day over day, like getting 1, 2, 3 a day, or like what is consistent?
Yeah. I mean, if you're spending $50 a day, then I would say that's getting at least 1 or 2 sales a day.
Okay.
Right. And if you can do that, then, and from there, once you're doing that, if you're at least close to breaking even, then, it's not going to take, usually it doesn't take a whole lot more to get profitable, right? You just have to be able to get to that point where you're making sales consistently, and then you can optimize from there. But the ROAS needs to be at least close to break even.
Okay.
Matt, what's your goal? It's cut out on us.
My Facebook ads up and running in the next few days, and then hopefully kind of be where David is at the moment. I think roughly around that sort of getting some sales in.
Yeah, so there you go. You two, you kind of know that like David's a couple of weeks ahead of you.
Yeah.
So if you got any questions for him, you know how to find him. David, are you active in Slack?
Yeah, I usually I don't know if you can hear my AirPods died, but yeah, I usually check every day. It depends. Every couple hours, I kind of look in. I try to answer. I know there's a lot of people ahead of me, so it's kind of hard to like answer them. But anyone that's kind of like where I am, I can try to help out answer. I mean, I usually get on there all the time, so a couple times a day. If I'm not working or working on this, I kind of keep an eye on it. So
Thanks.
There you go, Matt. If you need anything, there's somebody who's just gone through it a couple of weeks ago.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, man, and y'all don't be afraid to use Slack. Honestly, it's not. It's definitely like y'all's group, the most recent group, from July. Y'all have been more active than most people have been so far. But ultimately, that resource is as effective as you make it. It can be a huge resource for you, and you can get direct help from me and Scotty and everyone else in here, and really use it to propel yourself forward. And also, simultaneously be using, your experience to also help others. Or you can just, kind of ignore it and, just be like, oh yeah, you see the notifications, but you don't really want to, open it up because, whatever reason, blah, 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 it's kind of up to you. So, we have it here for a reason. And, the people who have been, using it the most, they have been the ones, again, like I said earlier with, acting with speed. I forget the other thing I said, but, the people who are using the resources, they're the ones getting the results. So, ultimately, we're all here, and that's really what what me and Scotty kind of set out to build is really a whole community of people who are fucking, helping each other succeed. Because there's, in my opinion, there's nothing fucking better than being surrounded by dudes who all have similar goals, who are all helping you and, doing everything they can to try to help you succeed and vice versa. So yeah, there's a little spiel on the Slack chat there. I got cut off. Where did we leave off? Was James the only one so far?
Matt's just told us his goals. Next up, Josh.
3 sales on my store.
3 sales?
Yeah.
You're also gonna have to learn how to do 3 with your hands, like.
Good thing this isn't video. Or good thing the recording's not video.
Yeah.
All right, David.
I think for me, it's going to probably be testing out. Kind of like we said, I forget who mentioned it, but get more sales just consistently by kind of rinsing and repeating big creatives and testing with different ads and different groups and interests. And eventually you want to be able to, and I did know you mentioned like the view content really isn't all that important. But I guess I just got to be more up to date on washer. Yeah, set all my ads basically. I want to be able to sit here and say, oh, this is probably what's going on. I need to take this and edit that. Just consistently being more on my ads and testing more out and more consistent sales. That's where I like to be. Since I've already seen how it starts off when you kind of shoot off ads, people react in the purchases. I want to kind of keep that going. So just testing more ads. I'm not sure if I have like an exact number. But just kind of keep sales consistent with ads.
I'm gonna put a goal in your mouth for you. I'm gonna say I'd like to see you, David. I'd like to see you have 3 profitable ad sets.
3 profitable. All right. Okay. 3 profitable. All right. I'll write that down.
You got one that's damn close.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's within how long? That's within a week, right? Yeah. If you can do that in a week, you can do a lot more, in the next week. Right.
Right.
If you think about how much progress you just made in 1 week, you just made a shit ton of progress, dude.
Right. Honestly, like you said, it's maybe I don't even see it. But it's just I don't know. It's just something. Like I said, it's just something now. You sit and you just want to keep learning and you just want to consistently keep going at it. But maybe there's just more than I've really noticed. To be honest with you, maybe there's not much because me, I've seen like the amount I put into it on the ads and like what's not working. But like I said, it's kind of like you see what you learn from it, and that's what I'm starting to pick up now. But yeah, like I guess there's just more that I really haven't noticed I've learned compared to a lot of others, I guess I should say.
Gotcha. Is Nate freezing up, or is it just for me?
He did for me, I think. It looked like he was mid-sneeze, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think,
I missed
Matt?
all that, Scotty. I'm making you the host. It's fucking storming here. My connection keeps going out.
Right.
So yeah, I missed that. But what I was gonna say is, like, there are so many people out there, David, and this goes for all you guys, who would fucking kill to be in your position right now. There are so many people who've tried their hand at dropshipping and haven't made a single fucking sale. Who've tried for months, and they don't know what they're doing wrong. And you're already making sales like that quickly. Now, obviously, you're not where you want to be.
Right.
You have to be able to, take a step back and, be like, okay, I've made significant progress. And, you keep doing that, you're going to be so far ahead, and then you're going to look back and you're not going to know what the fuck happened.
Okay. All right. That works with me.
All right, Adrian.
So my goal is to have my store up and running and be running ads by the next time we meet. That way I'll have something to give you guys, ask for feedback on. I'll actually have something to be working with.
Dope. I think that's a great goal.
Awesome. Thank you for lighting a fire under my ass again.
Yeah, man, absolutely. That's what we're here for. All right. So is that everyone then?
Yeah, James posted his goals, or his goal, in the chat. New ads for products, update creatives, copy interest, price, 10 sales by August 4th. Sounds good.
Dope. All right, fellas, I have one last ask for you guys. So, basically, Scotty and I have, I hope it's somewhat obvious. We put in an immense amount of work into this program. It took us like 3 months just to build the B.O.S.S School of Business, and it took us like 2 weeks straight just to literally plan everything out, and we had to record all the content and everything. We do these live calls. We really, are, at least I think, are doing everything that we can to help you guys succeed. So if you guys wouldn't mind, if you could return us back with a very small favor and just record a short minute, 30 seconds to a minute to 2 minutes, just like a selfie style video testimonial, just talking about, your experience in the program, feedback. And it doesn't have to all be positive either. You can talk about if you think there's some things that could be improved on, your honest thoughts and opinions on the program. We would love to have that for the sales page, and really just to also have feedback from you guys on what you guys like and what you guys don't like, because, going forward, me and Scotty are, going to be putting a lot of time into further improving the program. So if y'all could do that and then just drop those to me on Slack, just send me a DM on Slack with that video, that would be fucking amazing. And I would appreciate you very, very much for that.
Sweet.
Maybe send it to both of us, ideally.
Yeah, that works too. Just make a direct message with me and Scotty on Slack. Send it over to us, and you don't have to, obviously, don't feel afraid to talk about it if you're not making sales yet, because obviously that's not really the point of this. If you are making sales, then definitely feel free to talk about your results and the time frame and kind of what you've learned, and everything like that. But just tell us what you think. Tell us what you think is kind of different from this compared to maybe some other things that you were thinking about doing or have experienced in the past. Just give us some honest feedback so that we can kind of see that for ourselves and also be able to share that with the world and kind of show people what this is about. Because ultimately, you guys are the ones that actually know what this is about, and me and Scotty can can talk it up all we want, but we're the ones that made it, so we're a little bit biased there. But you guys, your opinions, we value them greatly, so we'd really, really appreciate that.
I got some quick questions.
All right, perfect.
Let's go.
Okay, so well, let me knock this one out of the way real quick. So with Blue Ocean, are y'all going to do an affiliate program at all for people that are inside?
That was actually something we were talking about today, although we weren't talking about it for students. But that's actually something I think we probably should talk about, Scotty. The thing that I don't want to happen is that people just get inside the program to become an affiliate for it, because the affiliate payout would obviously be pretty fucking fat. So
because that kind of happens with stuff like ClickFunnels and
like I was just thinking like the War Room.
Great marketing, but it's like
gets distorted.
Yeah, and it ultimately, we want you guys to succeed with, with building an e-commerce business, not affiliating for, selling, how to build an e-commerce business.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we'll probably do something like that. What did you have in mind, James? Do you have people that, you think that would benefit from this that you would like to kind of refer?
I mean, that was more the situation, not necessarily running, marketing campaigns or anything on it, but, there's people I know that are interested in this kind of thing. Who knows if the price point is something they're interested in, but I have friends that are involved with this kind of thing. And, I think that going through the program itself and seeing, I'll be honest, I just really like how y'all make it. The information is so dense and so, there's not fluff, because I've done other stuff in other industries, and a lot of times they'll make a 30-minute video when it needs to be 3 or 5.
But they give it a cool name.
Do what?
But they give it a cool name.
Yeah, well, yeah. I've got. My other question here was on the Facebook page. When we're, I'm asking everybody that's liking my ads and everything to like the page, right? Or, well, I am. But with the beautification of the Facebook page itself, as far as like actually having a feed, actually having all these things, I automate my like social media postings on some other things. I was wondering how important or how effective it would actually be to just collect a lot of content and then have it drip out on the Facebook so it doesn't look blank.
That's a good idea.
Because I think I was going to go the route of UGC. Probably be the easiest way.
What's UGC?
User generated content. What you're saying, James, is a really good idea. But it's not something you should be focusing on right now.
Okay.
So what happens when you're actually active on the Facebook and you interact with comments, you post to your page, just normal page posts, you tend to get slightly lower CPMs because Facebook wants you to be active on the platform outside of just running ads. So you're overall just going to do better if you're actually active. Like once you have a business up and running, that's something you want to do, but it's not going to make the difference between 0.6 ROAS and 2.5 ROAS. So once you're up and running, once you've got everything working, start investing in content, start putting some time into that. But for now, just focus on getting it working.
Okay. So really that's for like once I have like a legitimate audience that is going to really be interacting with it on the natural side versus the ad side or organic, whatever.
Once it's an optimization. It's a 10-20% improvement that you might see, but it's not going to make or break you.
Okay. So that's like months down the line that I should try to put time into that.
Depends how quickly you grow. Might be 1 month down the line, might be 2, 3, 4 months down the line. Depends how quickly you get there.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would say like, just to add on to that, it's just like kind of like, that's like an amplifier kind of what you're already doing. Because if you're running, $500 a day in traffic or $5,000 a day in traffic, you're going to have a lot of people coming to your Facebook page. Right. And having that content there, very well could get you, a lot more, maybe not a lot more sales, but could definitely get you, enough sales for it to be worth it, right? For it to be worth the extra effort. But right now, spending $50 a day on ads, the effect of that, it's probably not going to be worth your time. Right now, you really need to be focusing on, fucking coming up with really good ads, unique angles, and just basically testing things and getting, to a point where you have at least one product that is consistently making sales. And then from there is consistently profitable. And then from there, then you kind of have, you're going to have a lot more free time once you're at that point, because you're not going to be constantly, having to, you're still going to be testing a lot, but it's not like it's not going to take 8 hours a day. Right. So you're going to have, a lot more time to be able to do stuff like that. So I'd say, yeah, that's a good way to think about it. It's definitely something that you want to be doing down the line. And there's a lot of things like that. Like, actually, yeah, there's like a lot of things. And I think, some things that I'm not going to try to list a bunch of all the top of my head, but there's a lot of things like that we purposely did not include in the program because it's not necessary and it's not the best use of your time until you're consistently making sales and you're consistently profitable. Once you're at that point, different story, right? There's a bunch of different things that you can be doing, email, posting on Instagram, your Facebook page, growing organically and everything like that. But that's not the focus. That's not going to get you to, where you want to be, without the stuff that's actually important, which is, the contents of the program, basically.
Yeah. It's third semester stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Me and Scotty got so much work to do.
Love to see it.
Something's coming, man. We don't know exactly what it'll be, but we'll see. Definitely some bonuses that are going to be dropping. What I think we're kind of getting on a schedule with adding new content and updating the B.O.S.S School of Business. So there's going to be some new stuff in there. I guess starting next month. Is that right, Scotty?
Should absolutely be at latest August. Yeah.
Word?
Not earlier. And
it'll be fucking really dope once Scotty gets his ass over to the US, because then we'll be able to make content like in the same room together. Which is gonna be fucking sick.
Hey!
Shut up, Andy. All right, you have any more questions, James?
I'm good.
Word. All right, fellas. Well, this has been a fantastic call. I appreciate y'all taking the time. In the meantime, any questions, hit us in the Slack chat. Hit me and Scotty with those testimonials, and we'll talk to you guys next week and in the Slack chat.
Yeet.
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 Later.
Later, fellas.